Ah, Pawn Stars, the show that officially turned the History Channel into a TLC reality wasteland. When it first came out in 2009, it quickly became the History Channel's highest rated show, and the staff of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop became bona fide celebrities. However, after several years and seasons, it's time for the show to wind down. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I mean, y'all know the drill. Number 1. Show production interruption. Parts of the world-famous Golden Pawn Shop temporarily close to the public when the crew shoots an episode of Pawn Stars. This can sometimes mean that real interruption to business happens, according to the pawn shop manager Travis Benton, who told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that sales can suffer because of the show. Benton also estimated that out of 100 people who pass through the shop, only one of them is there to actually do business. The rest are just there as fans of the show. Number 2. Jumping the shark. When a show turns to cheap gimmicks and outright scenarios to get those precious viewers, it's called jumping the shark. Pawn Stars is hardly advertised for what crazy historical items people bring in anymore, but what stupid antics Chumlee is going to get into this week, or what generation gap thing the old man is going to complain about this time. Plus, the supposedly outrageous plots might be somewhat entertaining, but they're also painful to watch, because they've already been done so many times before. They're not just jumping the shark, they're jumping the same shark all the damn time. Number 3. It's flanderized its cast. Flanderization, basically emphasizing one character or trait until it's the only trait of that character. When Pawn Stars first began, each of the guys had realistic roles. Rick was a knowledgeable straight man who could negotiate tough deals. The old man was gruff but likable, and Corey was the young up-and-comer trying to prove himself, while Chumlee was comic relief who still knew just enough to work the shop if he had to. Plus, they could all interchange roles if need be. Now, they're so scripted there's no room for anything else besides each guy's one role and predictable dialogue. Even the sellers who come to the shop could just be the same uniformed individual, rather than the colorful characters from the show's infancy. Number 4. Biased behavior. Pawn Stars is far from the only bastion of sexism, but it's seemingly gone out of its way to being sexist. Namely, when it outright fired a woman simply because she used to be naked online. And not like the day before or anything, the show, whose very freaking name is a pun on porn stars, fired one of their workers, Olivia Black, because she used to be in porn. Like, wouldn't that make your show seem more authentic? Number 5. The experts are terrible. A big part of Pawn Stars is the experts who come in to authenticate antiques and other items, but many of whom we've come to know and love have turned out to be less than angelic, to say the very least. How much more of this show will the public stand before it becomes mere background filler, to inevitably be replaced by better background filler? Please, for the love of television, it's time for Pawn Stars to go. Number 6. Unsolicited comments of the host. Seriously, it's not technically illegal to be a terrible person, but making it so non-terrible trans women can pee in peace wouldn't make it more likely that terrible men can do terrible things. They're going to be that way regardless. This is not a good look for any show, especially one whose one and only hook is this old thing worth a bunch of money? Number 7. Real-life business is in danger. Ever since the success of Pawn Stars, the actual business that made the show possible has been pushed aside like an unwanted stepchild. According to Travis Benton, the general manager of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, unpredictable filming schedules make it incredibly difficult to do any actual buying and selling. The huge influx to the shop means that actual customers are outnumbered by almost 100 to 1, and whenever filming needs to be done, customers who aren't being featured are kicked out, causing a business to suffer even more, which not only affects the shop's bottom lines, but it can mean less commissions for the employees as well. Number 8. Rick is losing interest. After a while, everybody suffers a little bit of burnout from their career, but the burnout that the hosts of one of the biggest TV shows is something else entirely. Rick Harrison, the face of Pawn Stars, didn't know what he was getting into when the show went on air. Quote, "I figured that the show would mean free publicity, and free publicity would mean more business, but everyone told me that no one wants to watch a show about 4 fat guys in a pawn shop." Well, people obviously did want to watch 4 guys in a pawn shop, as proven by the almost immediate success of the show. However, Rick never wanted a long-running series. Quote, "All I was hoping for was a season or 2, so everything that has happened is beyond my expectations. It's insane." Number 9. Chumlee's legal issues. Chumley, the adorable dimwit on the show, has proven to be a fan favorite, but recently that image was shattered when his home was raided earlier this year in March, with enough drugs and weapons found to put Scarface to shame. The reason the authorities actually went to his home in the first place was due to a former pawn shop employee accusing him of sexual assault, the charges of which were dropped due to lack of evidence. So right off the bat, this story is incredibly dark, darker than we knew. Number 10. Repetition of plots. When it first hit the airwaves, Pawn Stars had some semblance of a program that you would normally find on the History Channel, as in it would be a show about history. A seller would come in with an historical item, and Rick would explain its significance in history, thus giving us a fascinating history lesson. However, as with any channel undergoing network decay, the show deteriorated into angry, annoying arguing, and really, it's one of those realms of reality TV shows now. It became less about history and antiques, and more about the family bickering. So, that's it for today's video. What do you think about this video? Drop your opinions in the comments section below. We would love to read your comments. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, or else you will miss out on some exciting videos. Thanks for watching the video. Bye for now.